First thing we can learn. The second is our equality. The virus doesn't respect ethnic boundaries or national borders. It's not a Chinese virus, even if you believe it started there, it's not theirs anymore. It's our virus, humanity's. It's in Afghanistan and Belgium and Cambodia and Denmark and France and here in America. I checked last night, it's now in 135 countries and counting. They've all been affected by coronavirus. We're all members of the great human family, created in the image of God, according to Genesis. The color of our skin, the language we speak, our accents, and our cultures count for nothing in the eyes of a contagious disease. It doesn't say, nope, you're speaking my language, I'll skip you if you're here. It doesn't say, nope, you're the color of skin that I like, I'll skip you, I'll go over here. It doesn't target certain people. It really has no discriminatory ability at all. It just is looking for a place to live, and it will take up residence wherever it can. We're equal. Some people don't like that and are uncomfortable learning that there's no difference between you and me. But maybe this virus will bring us all together because it reminds us that we have common problems that require common solutions. In our suffering and in our pain, we face our own mortality with complete equality. The Bible explains that we are equal in our rebellion against God and its result, death. We're getting to the lesson part of equality. The Bible says that all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. It also tells us that the wages of sin is death. There's equality in that, right? We share a common problem inherited from a common earthly descendant. The Bible tells us that we inherited our sin issue from Adam. Thankfully, if we share a common problem, then the solution is one that will work for anyone who's willing to receive it. Eventually, they may develop a vaccine for coronavirus. I believe they will. They're working hard. When they do, it will work for all who are willing to receive it. There won't be one vaccine for Americans and another for Brazilians. It'll be a vaccine for humanity. Access to it may not be equal, but the formula will prove true for anyone who's willing to take it. Well, the same is true of God's solution for our spiritual condition. My hope is your hope. And the hope of our country is the same as the hope for China or Italy. There is but one Savior, and He is the Savior of the world.
Amen.
And we are all in equal need. There was one solution, and any who come will be welcome. That's pretty cool. Third thing we learn, we do not have control over things. We don't even have control over ourselves. See people fighting over toilet paper. You're like, what is wrong with the world? For one, that's a first world problem. There are people who are fighting over leaves. Think about that for a second. I still got running water in my house. I'm better than most of the world. We all love to be in control. We fancy ourselves as captains of our destiny and masters of our fate. The reality is that today, more than ever, we can control significant parts of our lives. That is true. We can control our home's heating and security remotely. I can access the internet and use a computer in my pocket that is multiple times more efficient and capable than what got man to the moon.
Praise God.
Can't speak today. Not right now.
Praise God.
We can even control our bodies through training and medicine, but perhaps this sense of control is actually an illusion. I think there are a lot of people whose bubbles have been burst
Yes, sir.
the last few weeks. When we lose jobs, we lose opportunities. When the world closes down, we're not in control. We're beginning to realize it. Obviously, the authorities are trying to contain the spread of the virus by closing practically everything. That's them grasping at control, but really, in a sense, it's evidence of a lack of control, isn't it? They're doing what they can because they don't know all that they should do. Who would have ever thought they would cancel March Madness? I mean, that to me is, that's, never in our lifetime has the country taken such radical steps. But do they have the situation under control? We can only hope they're moving in that direction, but I don't think it's necessarily under control. What about us? Armed with disinfectant sprays, we try to lower the risk. We've been talking about how to wash your hands. Don't shake hands. Nothing wrong with any of that. But are we in control of the situation? Hardly. We have to admit, I think, that while we can take steps of precaution, we're not in control. We can influence things, but we can't control what happens next. And I hate to break it to you. You may think you've got it figured out and to keep yourself safe, but you're not in control. Surrender is not a bad thing if it leads us toward better solutions. And in fact, it can be a relief when you realize you don't have to be your own savior. This is what learning that we're not in control can do. 4, we share the equal pain of being excluded. Social distancing is not new for some of us. Some of us in this room know exactly what it's like to be excluded from things that other people get to experience from life, to be pushed to the side. Some people, however, are going to experience this phenomenon for the first time. There are people who have always had things go their way, and now they're going to enter a room and they're going to cough, and everyone's going to say, not here. And that's going to be a new experience for them. Again, some of us, that's not new for us. You've walked into rooms and you've seen that happen.
Amen.
But for some people, for the first time, they're going to realize what it's like to experience a little bit of hardship and ostracism. This is only good if it draws us closer together and lets us relate to one another on a human level more intimately. My fear is that we will forget. In the Bible, there were folks who had to actually walk around saying, unclean, unclean, because they had leprosy and skin conditions. What we know is that when they encountered Christ, Christ cleaned them. It changed their life, changed their perspective. I hope our perspective gets changed because our priorities have got changed. My hope is that as our country processes this experience, that some lessons like the importance of community and social responsibility prove lasting. And instead of looking down on one another, I hope that we learn that we need to look out for one another. This is a place where the church can lead. In a world where people are increasingly detached, the church can be a place for radical inclusion.